Hey people, on this episode, the 8th episode of Volleyball, the Tuesday after, we're going to talk a little bit about the Get Noticed Beach Volleyball Tournament. We're going to talk about the art of the beach volleyball coach. We're going to talk a little bit about the AVP over the weekend that transpired over the weekend. Star-studded lineup of interviews. We have Taylor Crabb, the AVP champion this weekend. We have Todd Rogers, who needs no introduction. The hardest working man in America, Coach Jeff Alzina, and Matt Olson from Team Wave. Let's get popping. This episode starts right now.
San Jose State. Nicole Reinke, Long Beach State.
Morgan Esters, Tulane University. Bailey Young, Pensacola State.
Georgia Coble, University of Arizona. Ava Elia, GCU. Michaela Casper, Pepperdine. Victoria McDonald, TCU.
Dana Waldberger, Berkeley.
Courtney Claxton, Stetson University. Molly Davis, USC.
Livy Lee, Cal Poly.
Peyton Lewis, Pepperdine.
Alexandra Parkhurst, University of Arizona. Maddie Sundholm, Cal. Summer McDonough, University of Arizona.
Hey, Jason DeBase at courtside with 2008 Olympic gold medalist, the Professor, Todd Rogers. Welcome.
Thank you.
This is for Get Noticed Volleyball and for JBVL and for a little bit of NY Varsity Sports for our friends in New York. I wanted to talk a little bit about the transition of beach volleyball becoming not transition, but as a rising NCAA sport. A lot of these coaches use their indoor players in transition, right? And now it seems to be tapering to the exclusive beach players. At what point did that change for the better? Like, would you say that was like 3 years ago, 2 years ago?
Probably say somewhere between 1 and 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago for the top teams.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'd say the top 20, 30, 40 teams are all going to start moving towards beach-only players, primarily because you've got great coaches at the juniors level. The gals are starting to play both indoors and beach still, even at a younger age, 12, 13, 14, 15. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, I would encourage that, but they're getting out on the beach. So instead of at 15, 16, 17 going, gosh, this indoor thing isn't working out so good for me, I'm going to come out to the beach, and getting out there late, and then you've got some pretty darn special athletes on the indoor team. They're still able to just be better athletes on the court. Now a lot of those gals are coming out on the beach a lot earlier. And even if they're not the super uber athlete, they're still a really polished volleyball player. And this game is such a mental game versus a physical game. You see it all the time where the two smalls beat the two bigs at this age because they're just smarter.
Grab pack against the Giants. Yeah.
They're technically savvy. They understand the game. They understand all the tactical pieces. And they beat the team that's maybe more athletic than them from a purely I'm bigger, stronger, faster, jump higher. But that doesn't necessarily always equate to a W out here. It does indoors most of the time. But out here, it can go either way. Now that being said, if you do have the bigs that have all those pieces too, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And that's what obviously every coach is looking for, is that kid that's 6'2" and has all the pieces to their game. And then you put them with a small who's 5'9" or 5'10", who has all the pieces, and you've got an exceptional team.
Cool. My other question is, how far removed, be it deeper or near removed, do you think NCAA men's will have a beach be a beach sport?
I do not have.
Does that seem like tougher sledding?
Yeah,
at
much
this
tougher
point?
sledding with Title IX, with a lot with football being a pretty solid men's sport. It's tough to make an argument that hey, we should add another men's sport to the detriment of. I'm not quite sure what the detriment would be to. Maybe women's sports in general. I don't know what the argument would be there. I'd love to see men's beach volleyball out there. Even if it were, hey, we're going to play instead of best out of 5, 5 teams.
Instead of the pair of
best
5s, you do pair of 3s.
Yeah, have a smaller team. So you have 10 players on your team, so it doesn't count as much against you. It's cheaper, so to speak. I'd love to see something like that. We'll see. I know that I believe at JC level, I think they've already started doing some tournaments and whatnot.
It's really good to know.
It would help a lot, given the U.S. system is kind of through the collegiate, rather than where most countries just have an Olympic system. They go into the Olympic system. That's what they do. Our system provides the opportunity also to get an education.
Todd, you are the professor because I actually had 5 questions and you answered the first 4 before there. You're Cal Poly, right?
Yes.
I wish you all the best. Okay, they got themselves a real professor there. Okay.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Hey, Jason DeBay is courtside with longtime AVP or Matt Olson, also the head coach, the head beach coach of Wave Beach Volleyball. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Cool. Let's talk about some beach volleyball as a growing NCAA sport. I want you to talk to me about some of the transitions from like a few years ago up to the present, where like it seemed like a lot of the coaches were using indoor players first. To translate to build their program. Sure. When do you think that's changed as far as a few years ago to this point?
Yeah, I don't know the exact numbers, but yeah, you're correct that when it became an NCAA sport, I think it was January of 2015, most of the institutions that were involved were sharing athletes from indoor would finish and they would come transfer over to the beach. And now it's significantly increased the number of programs overall, but then also the number of programs that are using beach-only athletes is also increasing. And again, I don't know the exact numbers, but there's no question the sport is going like this, and the college is what's driving it. So it's great to see that these beach-only athletes are having the opportunity to play at the next level and represent a school and not have to play indoor for that school. So it's it's great for us and our business.
And as a beach coach who's tasked with the awesome responsibility of educating our youth, what percentage of your girls would you say actually play indoor and outdoor, or just play outdoor exclusively?
Yeah,
just off the top of your head, without breaking out the paperwork.
It's good to share because Wave Beach is unique, and then I have a partnership with Wave Volleyball, which is a prominent indoor club, and so we're a little different than a lot of other beach clubs where we still share athletes internally, if you will.
Yeah.
I would say like 60 to 70% of our athletes are beach only, and then I've got whatever that translates to, 30 or 40% that still play some indoor, and some are like on an indoor team where they're practicing 2-3 days a week indoor and come to us 1 day a week, or vice versa, where like we have some players that are with us 3 days a week on the beach, and then they still are like a practice-only player on some indoor teams locally too. So we have a little bit of everything at our club.
Great.
Yeah.
Hey, as a guy who's been a big fan of yours and had the pleasure of playing Manhattan Sixes with you, thank you for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So let's talk a little bit about beach volleyball being an NCAA sport. Talk to me about the burst of talent that's come on, as well as the how can I say well, let's go one at a time. As far as recruiting is going, how's that going?
It is a totally different world than it was about 3 or 4 years ago. There's just so much more talent at the youngest age groups because so many of these kids are playing. They used to play indoor and beach volleyball, and now a lot of these kids are getting into beach clubs at a young age and focusing on beach volleyball, and that's really showing in terms of the talent upgrade. I was saying our first year at Long Beach State, we were in the ABCA championship game, and seeing some of these top 18-year-olds now, I think they could have totally been playing in that game as well. Given how the time has changed, now there's even better talent at the college level. So these kids got to keep getting better and better, but it's making our jobs a lot easier once they come to college as a more refined product.
Was there also a point maybe 2 or 3 years ago where the talent you were looking for were not just indoor transients, but just pure beach players that have been playing less indoor volleyball, if not none, no indoor volleyball at all?
Yeah, that's it's definitely happening more and more. Long Beach State historically, we've always had those combo kids who played both indoor and beach.
Because I remember John Mayer, he's at LMU, and he was saying like his first year, the whole team were like indoor people.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And that's kind of where we're kind of at too. So we're starting to have more and more beach only kids, as is every program. So it's a lot harder for the indoor kids to hang with people who are playing it year round.
Well, as a rising NCAA sport, which is almost rivaling indoor women's, I understand the head coach of the your head coach is leaving. Is she leaving?
Yeah, our head coach
after how many years?
32 years, Brian.
Have you ever done anything for 32 years? Have you lived? No. I've not done anything for 32 years. Okay. So is there any like this is the Get Noticed tournament. What are you looking for? Are you looking for people who are hybrids? Are you looking for people who specialize in positions, front row blocker, back row defender, stuff like that? That we've seen that transition of the beach the last decade.
I'd say just in general, so many of the coaches here are looking for bigger kids who can play a good controlled game with good ball control, but size is becoming so important out here. So obviously a lot of the smaller players, they can be very good too, and they have their role and useful. But
sometimes to combat some of these big people at the net, you need other big people.
The sport's getting bigger and bigger at the top level, so we gotta follow suit, try and get some kids who are big and.
Just want to remind everybody that we've got Kauai Bikini here, so if you're in need of a bikini, we got all the colors.
Thank you so much for your time.
Come on up.
This is it. Beach volleyball life. Cool. Good luck too, man. Cool.
Okay, joining me is the Punahou High School alum, winning back-to-back state championships. He was also a college standout at Long Beach State University, where he achieved All-American status as well as National Player of the Year in 2013. He is the elite of the elite in the FIVB scene and the AVP, and as recent as 2 days ago, won the AVP Open in New York City with Jay Gibb. He is Taylor Crabb. Taylor, welcome to the show, brother.
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Pretty good, man. So much to talk about, but I can imagine you've been a man that's mobbed the last 2 days. So I'd like to start with just the recent past. Let's start with the AVP in New York City. Well, all right. You've been razor close to winning an AVP title, okay, on numerous occasions. 3 times last year, in fact. So what I'd like you to do, I'd like you to walk back with me, all right? Here's a scenario. You're up 1 set to 0. And you find yourself trailing in a second, right? With momentum not really shifting either way, somehow, some of you guys come back and you tie the score. And my question is this: with the score tied, how much did the past creep up in your head? Like some of those games decided by 2 in the finals.
Actually, surprisingly, I was pretty level-headed and focused in on the game. I wasn't thinking much of the past finals. I have a new partner now, a new coach, a new team around me that we're just focused on ourselves and getting better, the best we can be. So our preparation for this tournament was amazing. Our coach had us prepared for every match we played, and I felt ready, and that's why we were able to come out on top.
Cool. So it kind of probably just felt like 0-0 then, right? When it was like 21 up, you just kind of like trust you trust your partner, you trust your coach.
Yeah, actually, there's a great. Actually, not a lot of people know this because they went on the court, but the last play of the game, when Jake blocked the ball, we were at 1 point and we had to serve to win. He's walking back to the service line. And he told me to call because we're going to run a 5 block. And if they hit it, I'm going to block it. So I just want you
to spy it. Yeah, to spy it. For the folks at home, that means he's just going to go after the hitter. But go ahead, sorry. Mm-hmm.
And I said, all right, you got it. I trust him. You know, he's been around a long time. So I have the utmost respect, and whatever he says, I believe is the best for the team. So he wanted it, he came through it. He blocked the ball for the match, and helped me win my first AVP title.
Yeah, man. Hey, there's nothing more trusting in a relationship than a 5 block. All right. So listen, you and your brother, Trevor, you guys were a team for a while. And the two of you, of course, mutually split and as subsequently found similar success with new partners. I guess my first question is how tough was the split? I mean, you guys are brothers.
Oh, sorry, what was it? How tough is it?
Yeah, I guess my first question is how tough was the split? You guys were brothers. You guys mutually split, but you guys found great success. We guys wound up with 2 really good partners. I mean, one semis, one wins the whole thing. But tough question. Tough question.
I mean, it's difficult. We lived together also, but I think it was even more tougher on my mom. She was pretty heartbroken that her two boys had split up.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Imagine having to pick sides if he makes the finals.
I think it's for the better. We both got 2 great veterans, both Olympians. This is a great moment for both of us in our career to really learn from 2 older people that have, been there, done everything. And then in the future, who knows, maybe we could get back together. But this is the move that needed to happen for both of us. And I think he agrees on that as well.
I agree too. I mean, I've been coaching and I've been playing this for a long time. And when I saw the partner shakeups, all around. I mean, everyone, you guys weren't the only 2, but I was like, these guys are probably going to play each other in the semis or play each other in the finals, and the question was like, which would be the first one to win, and then here you are. Which leads me to my second question in that area. The 2 of you are in New York City, right? And you're both on opposite sides of the winner bracket. So as both of you continue to advance in the winner's bracket, I'm sure you were checking every chance you got. Did he win? Did he win? So with the possibility of the 2 of you meeting in the finals being very, very real, what were your thoughts? Were you looking forward to it, or were you loathing it, to have the possibility of having to play your brother in the finals?
Yeah, I didn't even need to check. I kept hearing it all weekend from fans and other people about how they wanted to see a Crabb final. But no, I stayed focused. We had to win our matches to even get there. Tough matches against a great team. I mean, it was the most stacked AVP I've ever seen or played in.
Oh, with just Ricardo playing lights out and Ratledge resuscitating his career in Zon. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everyone's playing really great right now. But yeah, I'm definitely always cheering for Trevor to win any match. I never want him to lose. I don't take success in other people's failures.
Good for you.
So yeah, I'm always cheering for him, and I'm sure there will be a time when we will match up, and it'll be exciting for sure. That everyone's going to want to tune into that game, because there's going to be ultimate bragging rights for that one.
Yes, there is, and everyone's going to be there for that one. So the brunt of this episode, like all of my episodes have different concepts, and this episode is the art of the coach. So in the spirit of the episode, the art of the beach coach, talk to me about the significance of having yours there on the sideline and what it means to your success. You mentioned it a little bit, and I was gonna, I was actually gonna cue in then, but I think I'm gonna cue in now and ask. First of all, what's your coach's name? I got his name and I forgot. What was his name?
Marcia.
Yep. So what does it mean?
Marcia, he coached Kerry in April the last 4 years when they led up to the 2016 Olympics.
Nice.
And then, Jake and I were supposed to have time to go to band as our coach. He kind of got us together, but he took a job in Nebraska. So we were coachless for Fort Lauderdale, and I've actually never really had a coach on the beach before.
Yeah.
I've always just learned from watching and playing with the older kids, Triborn, my brother,
right.
the McKibbins, always playing with the older guys. Jeff Alzina helped us out last year a little bit. He wasn't able to be there that much.
No,
so I never had a full-time coach.
Yeah.
So the things that I'm learning is, it's kind of similar to indoor where, you have a coach and you have a system, you have a place to be, practice time, a schedule. Before that, it was kind of, there's no real hard practice schedule. We kind of just always went with the flow. Like, okay, we'll practice here, we'll practice against this team, but no, now everything's linked up, to my Google Calendar. I can see our month's plan. Our scouting reports, we watch video on us and against opponents. So it's been actually a career-changing moment, and I'm learning a lot from it.
God bless. Yeah, and Jeff Alzina is a hard person to keep around. He's like the James Brown of volleyball. He's the hardest working man. Every time I see that guy, he's somewhere. Everywhere I go, there he is. I was at the Get Noticed Beach tournament. He was there, and two of his teams. Yeah. One team won the gold, and two of his teams won the bronze. So yeah, he's I noticed he's worked with you guys before, but everywhere we go, there he is, right?
Yeah, he had a lot of coaching jobs on his plate last year. That's why he wasn't able to be with us as much as he probably liked. But yeah, it's finally nice to have someone there, every practice with a game plan at practice on what we need to get better at.
Yep, that's cool. So listen, thanks for joining me. Before you go, I have something that I affectionately refer to as the lightning round that I give my guest, and here it comes. You ready?
What was that? Sorry, I missed it.
I have something that I'd like to finish called the lightning round questions. This is what I do for my guests.
Oh, okay.
And are you ready? Here we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Taylor, okay, ice cream or cupcakes?
Ice cream.
My man. All right. Game of Thrones or Walking Dead?
I haven't seen either.
Good for you. Okay, favorite player growing up?
Mike Lambert.
Oh, that's a good choice. I saw him play in '96, and he played a really good 5-star against Cuba. Favorite player now?
Ooh,
you better say Trevor Crabb. You better be safe, bro.
I have to go with Rosiak from Poland. I think his offense is spectacular and something really fun to watch.
Yeah, and he and Cantor have an excellent chemistry too. I actually I taped a whole bunch of games at World Series at Beach too, and I have him playing the Latvians and maybe one of the American teams. Okay, what's a good team name? Sets in the City or You Shall Not Pass?
I'll pass.
Okay, and last question. Who in the history of time would you like to sit and chat with and have dinner with and pick their brain? Present or past? Who in the history of time?
Who are the two people?
No, I said who. If you had to pick one person, present or past, that you'd like to have dinner with and pick their brain and talk to them, who would that be?
That's a tough one. I'd say I've never really sat down with Phil and talked about the game.
Okay.
I think, and I've heard he's really intelligent, and he's spoken about the game before to other people, and I'm interested to see his thoughts and views on it.
All right. Well, Phil, if you're watching, let's make that happen, bro. At least you're alive. This man Taylor Crabb here just picked someone that was alive. Okay, let's see if we can make that happen. Taylor, I want to thank you for coming on the show, but before I go, I'd be remiss but if I didn't say that in a tournament that, like you said, had absolute just heightened competitors, everybody has improved their game. You got Dalhousie, you got Ricardo coming back, you got Zahn who looked like an absolute boss. You had Ratledge that looks like a 25 years old, and the one that came on top was you and Jake Gibb, and I want to extend my absolute congratulations to you. Okay.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. It means a lot.
All right, cool. Have a good day, Taylor.
Thank you very much.
All right, everybody. That was Taylor Crabb. That was the younger Crabb. His older brother Trevor made the semifinals and lost to Stafford Slick and Billy Allen, and Taylor Crabb beat Ricardo and James Schalk. We only call him Ricardo. He's the Brazilians. It's just a first name thing. If you don't need to know his last name, it doesn't matter. And again, in this just intense, heightened world, what they call it the Gold Series, the AVP New York. In this series that had Dahlhauser and Lucena getting bounced out of the winner's bracket in the first round, and a tournament that had both Rosses in the finals, Summer Ross and April Ross, and on both scenes, but in this case in the men's scenes, I think it's really, really cool to have for Taylor Crabb and Jacob to say, hey, that tournament, big tournament, big players, everybody played their absolute best volleyball, and we're the ones that came out on top, and good for him. Okay, we're back. My featured guest has a coaching resume that would make almost anyone envious. He has 20 plus years of experience, has international American collegiate experience, and has brought success and prosperity to pretty much everywhere you went. He's currently coaching a slew of professionals, upstarts, hopefuls, the LA Beach Volleyball Club, and still finds time to volunteer at Long Beach State. Ladies and gentlemen, the UCSB alum, the James Brown, hardest working man in America of volleyball, I bring you Jeff Alzina. Welcome to the show, Jeff.
Quite an intro.
It's deserving. Let me start by asking the same thing I asked the other coaches. I talked to Todd Rogers and Matt Olson at the Get Noticed tournament, and I guess I'm gonna ask you the same thing. In the past, many of the beach volleyball players were indoor transients, and that seems to have shifted over the last 5 years, where players are now exclusively beach.
I would only be the women.
Yeah. Well, that's all we got to talk about until someday, even dare to have like men's beach as a collegiate sport.
Yeah.
So, percentage-wise, how much have the girls gone full-time, would you say, from the last 5 years now? Would you say 70-30, 80-20?
That's a tough call. I think a lot of the high school girls that I think you're referring to are still playing on their high school indoor team. I think the common thing that I heard this past year was still playing high school, but stopping playing indoor club.
Right.
Because the high school season's usually pretty quick, maybe 2.5, 3 months, depending on how deep they go.
Yeah, it's almost like a blur.
There's a huge surge in kids stopping indoor club, and like you said, there's a lot of kids. I don't know how to put a percentage on them because it's hard to measure how many kids are out there, but a lot of kids that I've talked to and a lot of kids that I'm coaching will be stopping completely playing indoor volleyball.
Wow. God, I think I speak for them that I wish I'd done it a lot sooner. I've been playing for 28 years, but I probably could have had more in me if I started beach earlier.
And that's what everybody I talk to, who's 25 and older that still plays it. The first thing out of their mouth, God, I wish I had that opportunity. I wish I could have done that. I wish I could have been a system that had so many different tournaments and tours and coaches and got all that support to become great when you're younger.
Yeah.
So it's an exciting time.
You just have like more volleyball longevity,
Yeah. Well, we get better faster. It took people. One of the things, there was a lot of great things about the American system 10, 15, 20 years ago in that they didn't have all this opportunity, and you just had to prepare on your own in the summer, and usually in the college summers too, and then go grind out for another 5 years before you could challenge winning on the AVP tour. It made us a lot older and took a lot longer to get there, and then the older players stayed and play for a long time, so it made it hard for younger players to come up.
Yeah.
But I think it's been good tougher. It took it without a doubt. Now we're on the World Tour in 1998, 99, 2000.
Yeah.
I just saw the Americans winning matches against teams that were either not quite as experienced or just simply not as mentally tough. I attributed a lot. I mean, speaking in generalizations here, but a lot of the mental toughness that I saw at the Olympic Games on the World Tour of the fact that the American players basically created their own career by themselves.
Yeah.
Whereas the European model was what I call really soft. It was just overly supported from a young age, and a lot of the players kind of had burned out or expected things to happen for them externally. And we had a lot of internal drive in our AVP type athletes.
Yeah, they do. One of the sayings is, because I used to play in Germany, in Darmstadt, Germany, and I have a lot of friends that played overseas. They say everybody's career finishes in Greece because you just burn out. I don't know. Maybe quantitatively it's just too much.
Oh yeah.
You were in Greece, right? You were coaching the 2014, I believe. So, how much did you love that? How much did you love Greece, or not?
I really loved Greece. It was just I was really fortunate to get that opportunity to be a young coach, and basically have a fully supported and funded program of athletes and assistant coach and facilities. And moving over there allowed me to work full time, even when I didn't have full time trainings to execute. I might only train 10 hours in the stand with those few athletes that I had, at least in that first year. So I put another 20 hours in studying and learning and breaking down tape and trying to create my original philosophies of how to play beach volleyball. But the people were awesome, the culture was awesome. Like every federation around the world in every sport, it got a little political and weird at times, and I was an outsider, but overall it was a phenomenal experience.
Right. You talked a little bit about mental toughness, which is actually going to lead into my next question, but I was a little ADD, so of course I jumped to Greece, and I'm going to jump back to this. You've coached a plethora of players who have enjoyed success on so many levels. We're talking about the Crabbs, talking about Rosie. We can go on. This episode can't be 2 hours, so I can't name them all. Talk to me about the process of coaching different levels, and percentage-wise, I'm going to use that word again, or term. How much of it involves the neck up, from the neck up? You were talking about mental toughness before, and I'd like to talk about mental toughness. I'd like you to talk about mental toughness, and also we need to talk a little bit about volleyball psychology, just being psychologically ready as well.
Well, I had a psychology degree in my undergrad when I was in college at UC Santa Barbara, and so I was really interested in the mind early on. My dad was a coach, and he was born a long time ago. He was born in 1929, so I had an older dad, and he was kind of an old school coach guy who believed a lot in mental toughness. And anyway, he also taught psychology in high school, so I was kind of interested from an early age that most of the things that we do and the decisions we make, and even as an athlete, are really based psychologically first before our skills take over. Our mind controls our body. And so, I don't know, I got out there on the world tour right away in '98, and all the way through 2004 when I went to the Olympic Games with the USA men's team, with Jackson Stein. I saw so many teams that had excelled the seasons before the Olympics. 2002, 3, and 4, maybe the dominant teams just weren't dominant at the Olympic Games. And same thing when I went to Sydney in 2000. You had Jose Loyola, and he meant, we're by far the most dominant team. I think they'd won like 11 out of the 20 events in the qualifying leading to Sydney, and then they took a ninth.
Right. Yeah.
You had teams like Germany, who had never won and never finished really high, getting a bronze. And you had Eric and Dane taking first. And so that first Olympic experience in Sydney really made me think, like, Chris, what happens when you get into a tournament or an event and you're head-to-head with somebody who most of the skills are all equal.
Yeah, athleticism too, right? Athleticism, skill set, yeah. Go ahead.
So, and then you kind of live right into psychology right after that. Is, how are they feeling at that event? What's their team psychology like? What's their attitude like? Are they carrying sort of like momentum into that? Do they have expectations? Or too high of expectations? Just stuff like that. So I started paying a lot of attention to it in those first few years coaching, and then in 2005 I went and enrolled in the master's program in sports psychology at Long Beach State, trying to learn a little bit more.
about how to teach or explain or describe some of the phenomena that's needed to be an elite athlete.
Yeah, isn't it amazing? Like at the elite level, like how much that, like you just said, everyone you're going up against someone equal skill set, equal physicality. It's an all-day tournament. It's the semifinals, and you have to win that battle. You have to win that battle from the neck up. Yep.
It just really comes down to decision making and self-belief.
Yeah.
You know, what kind of decisions are you apt to make as a player? And you see some great players that make really bad decisions, either consistently or at crucial moments. They just make bad decisions, whether they back off and don't compete as hard because they're afraid either to win or make a mistake, or people who bite off too much. Too many balls, like the last 3 or 4 points, you just keep the ball in it.
And don't you see like a pattern with some players and some teams too? Like you could look at someone's like win-loss record, right? And someone could be like 38-1, but then you look at sets decided by 2 points, and like their 38 wins, you got like 15 of them decided by 2, just because of that, because they figured it out. They figured it out, Jeff. You know, they figured it out. I was talking to Michael Boag last episode, and I asked him if he leads the AVP in third sets decided by 2. You know, he was on the bad tail under that, and I think he's starting to figure that out as well. And I think Taylor Crabb, you know, came over the hump too. Like I was talking to him about I just interviewed him. I was talking to him about the second set. You know what I'm saying? And the pressure, because he's been in the finals and. Almost every finals, or the 3 finals I was in, he lost all 3, but one of the sets or both of the sets were decided by 2. So I was just wondering how much that came into play and how we found a way to conquer that. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, Taylor and Trevor are both really mentally tough and just great players. They've won at most levels coming up, you know, indoors in volleyball, and, you know, they've got the AVP next stuff that they had played in a little bit, and then our Seika Tour, which kind of teaches you, in a way, how to win, where you're not playing somebody who's drastically more experienced than you, you know, and you just kind of go head-to-head. But those guys had a lot of really good coaching, not only just in high school, but from their family and their dad as well, growing up, and a lot of the group around them.
Yeah.
And so you just... People that have successful careers typically, I don't know if they even stage them properly on purpose, but usually go through appropriate levels of challenge.
Right.
And it shows the level of their talent is enormous, you know, having them play in 3 finals together as a 27 or 26 and 24-year-olds last season.
Yeah.
So you kind of know that it was just going to be a matter of time till one and or both of them are going to win.
It's only, hey, we were this close to seeing them play it out in the finals in New York, right? So
yeah, so close. Trevor and Sean got to get Billy and Billy and Stafford one of these days. They've lost him 3 times now. The only time they won was in Austin.
Yeah. Well, another good new team. I mean, the partner shakeup pretty much benefited everyone. Like Stafford and Slick are a better team. Crabb and Rosenthal, they're happy. You know, given Crabb, of course, they won, so it's safe to say that they're happy. You know, Ratledge and Zahn, they, you know, 2 fits. McKibben teamed up with Pretty. It's almost like new partners created new motivation, and now it's really moving the volleyball needle for professional beach volleyball. You know, yeah. Let me take 30 seconds and just ask you this question: NCAA beach volleyball. Will we see you heading up a team at some point next year or the year after?
It's a great question. I think you're asking the wrong guy.
I know. Listen, I talked to Todd about this. Todd and I we were at the Get Noticed tournament, and we were just looking at volleyball or whatever, and he's like, if Jeff isn't coaching an NCAA team next year, it's a goddamn conspiracy. His words, and I agree.
I mean, after degree. I got 20 years pro experience. I got 10 years of NCAA indoor.
You forgot more volleyball than a lot of these guys learned. I have a listen. I can go off on a huge diatribe about some of these cats that get hired that leave me scratching my head. Many are deserving, Jeff. Many are deserving. Don't get me wrong. And now I'm getting wound up, so I'm just gonna calm down. But some of them, you gotta admit, man, it's just like, huh? So
athletic directors at the NCAA level, they don't have a lot of experience knowing a lot about beach volleyball. So I'm not sure, it's tough to make experienced hires. And there's some reasons that people want people that are closer to the program, I guess, or with more experience or ties to the head coach indoors. I don't know. But that's the goal. My goal is to be heading the program very soon, yesterday. So
no doubt.
Hopefully by spring that'll happen for me. But until then, I've still got work. I've got a lot of work to do still.
Well, you just keep your nose in the work, and I like that. Hey, listen, thanks for joining me, but I have one more thing called the lightning round. I don't know if you heard about this, but are you ready? All right.
No, I'll do my best.
Okay, cookies or ice cream?
Ice cream.
Yeah, my man. Tell us in the same thing. Game of Thrones or Walking Dead?
Thrones.
Yes. Favorite volleyball player growing up?
Andy Fishburne.
Wow, good one. Wow, I'm 46, so I kind of remember. Favorite player now? Who's your favorite player now?
Whew. It's hard because I view a lot of people as players that I coach versus just watching. I think Ricardo is one of the best players in the world. I really enjoy watching him play.
Yeah. Oh, mine is Bruno. I mean, I actually think he's the best beach player in the world. It's just my own opinion, but I enjoy watching him play defense and do his thing. Both Brunos actually, the indoor setter and the outdoor beach player with Alzina. What's a good team name? You Shall Not Pass or I Just Had Sets?
A team name?
Yeah.
I like the first one.
Okay, cool. And last but not least, I ask every single person this question. Who in the history of time, if you could pick one person to have dinner with and pick their brain, past or present, dead or alive, who would it be?
That's a really tough one. That would be a tough one.
You'd be surprised at some of the answers.
My dad passed 24 years ago. I'd love to talk to him again, but having him still raise me until I was about 23 years old, I'll say Jim Morrison.
Jim Morrison, nice. That's a good one.
I think that guy's bringing a lot of.
Yeah. Who the hell doesn't want to know what he was thinking?
I'm a big fan of it, but there's a lot of good answers out there.
Hey, mine is Jesus. So what are you gonna do? So, all right.
Jesus, God, there's a lot to consider.
Well, John Mayer said Abe. John Mayer said Abe Lincoln. All right.
Let me know if somebody else comes up with the Lizard King, and I'll be chat.
Ah, cool, man. So listen, Jeff, Alzina, thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. And let me tell you something. When you get to where you gotta go, I'm gonna be there because I'm gonna be so happy. All right. Keep your nose in the work, James Brown.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good one.
Good luck to you. All right.
Thanks. All right, ladies and gentlemen. That's Jeff Alzina. Pretty much everywhere I go, he's there. I mean, I'm watching the Crabbs playing the AVP finals. He's there. I was watching Rosie and Big Crabb play in Huntington, and he was there. I was at the Get Noticed Beach Volleyball Tournament, which is a showcase of the elite girls, putting on a showcase for college recruits. Pepperdine coach was there, TCU, everyone was there, and Jeff was there. So hardest working man in America as far as beach volleyball is concerned, and I'd like to see his name heard a little bit more because I was talking about coaches before. I was talking about the coach from Germany, who, by the way, I still don't know his name. Olympic coach winning Our Olympic winning coach from 2012 for Recommend and his partner, and for Vulcan Horse and Ludwig. 2 gold medals, men and women's team. I don't know that guy's name. If you hear me, message me on YouTube his name, okay? But Jeff Alzina. Hi, welcome to the segment of True or False, where I answer true or false questions that you guys send me, and just questions, and here we go. Okay, let's see. True or false? Taylor, Crabb, and Gibb will be in the Olympics in 2020. I think that's false. I think it's 2017, and that 3 years is a long way off. But if I'm wrong, if I wound up being wrong about that, I'd be wrong in a good way. I'd be happy, because that means Gibb will be 44 years old and he'll be playing in the Olympics, and where they're playing right now. I mean, you want the best, you want to play in the Olympics, and you want your best, but you also want, you're cheering for your guys to win the gold. And me, I don't know. For people that know me as a coach and player, I'm all about those wins. Taylor, Crabb will be there with someone else in 2020. True. Yeah, true. Trevor Crabb will win an AVP this year. If you asked me that a month ago, I would have said false, because a month ago I said neither Crabb was going to win one, and Taylor made a liar out of me. And looking at how cool and level-headed and the chemistry between him and Rosie, I wouldn't. I think they'll win one, but if they don't, they don't. But I think they'll win one. I say that's true. Let's see. True or false? Women's college beach volleyball will surpass indoor women's volleyball in popularity. That is false. Let's listen. Fast-growing sport. It's exciting. I love it, but let's pump the brakes here. For my people, my beloved people in Southern California and on the coast, and my Floridians and my Carolinians who have grasped the beach culture to a point where the talent and the coaches and everybody is around each other, so quantitatively it looks like this huge big world. It's not. It's a very, very small world. It's only a big world if you're neck deep in it. Like SoCal, but there's like hundreds of nets, and there's a tournament every weekend, and the big tournaments are out here, and it looks like everyone in the world is into it, and they're not. They're into it in those regions, and it will grow, and it will grow fast. But if we're gonna roll up and talk about how it's gonna pass indoor women's volleyball, nah, not yet. False. Okay, what else? Question for me: are you playing in the Hermosa Open this year? No. Wait, what? No, I'm not playing in the Hermosa Open. I played one beach volleyball tournament for men's doubles my whole life, and that was the Manhattan Beach Open last year. I played plenty of beach fours, I played plenty of grass fours, and I wanted to play in one major tournament just to see how it felt like, and it was nostalgic and it was fun, and I think I'm just going to leave it at that. So the answer is no, I'm not playing in the Hermosa Beach Open this year. Question: who is the voice, quote-unquote, voice, end quote, of volleyball? If you're talking about play-by-play and color commentary, I think for the beach scene, I like Chris Marlowe, but he might not be the voice anymore. I mean, he was the voice of the late 80s for preceding decades to come, and he just may be the voice of beach volleyball, him and Jane Blant, until he can't physically sit and do it anymore. So yeah, for outdoor volleyball, I'm going to say Chris Marlowe, because he's there. He's the man. He's been the man for quite some time. For indoor volleyball, it's got to be Kevin Barnett. Kevin Barnett's got that really cool voice that everybody likes to listen to. He puts so much work into it. I believe his mom's a voice coach, and I mean, for just like an hour and a half match, he probably puts like 8 hours working just on research and just the flow and keeping the audience engaged. And occasionally he'll have a rant about like things that hold up the game in sports and technical timeouts and all that stuff. And that's one of my guilty pleasures. I like listening to his rants. That's Kevin Barnett. Let's see. True or false? Coach Jeff Alzina will be a head coach, an NCAA beach volleyball head coach by 2018. I'd like to say true. He better be one. Yeah, well, like Todd Rogers says, if he isn't, it's rigged. But with the NCAA, I'm gonna have to go with false. You rephrase the question to 2019. Maybe someone will smarten up and hire him. Maybe some team out there is going to be tired of getting their butt handed to them, and they're going to be like, we're going to need a real coach. And ask around. All right. True or false? An American team will win an FIVB at Todd or Long Beach this year. That is false. Once again, let's pump the brakes. It's too much of an uphill road to climb. I mean, Kerry Walsh, to me, for women and men, has the best shot, but I think there are certain teams that have caught up to her. And will she win an FIVB? Probably, but I don't think she's going to win a Todd, and I don't think she's going to win at Long Beach. And the men, with Lucena and Dahlhauser still being our best shot, I don't see them winning either one of those either. True or false? Eric Zahn, the new phenom, who's done really, really well at Huntington and really well at New York. They won 2 winners bracket games. You win 2 winners bracket games, the worst you can finish is 5th. Eric Zahn and Ed Ratledge will stay together as a team. That's false. That's false. And that's factually false. In fact, I'll let the cat out of the bag. I just talked to Ed Ratledge, and Ed Ratledge and Eric Zahn have already parted ways as partners. Yeah, so not true. That information just came to me about an hour ago. So I'm sitting there staring at my phone, and I just talked to Ed Ratledge. It's gonna be on my next episode at the end of June. Yeah, so I guess that leads the question. If they're splitting, if Eric Zahn's leaving or if Ed Ratledge is leaving, who's Eric Zahn's good partner? Who's going to be a good new partner for him? Or who will he pick up as a new partner? Well, let's just pick up who he won't. No one from the upper tier. Not yet. He's there, and he's done some really good things, and some would say he overachieved, but some would say it's just his time and he's ready. But I don't see him picking up anyone who's been like ranked 6th or higher. So whoever he picks up, it's got to be a mid-tier. It's got to be maybe if Bill Kolinsky signs, maybe Ed Zahn will play with him. His defense, I thought he played over his head because he was considered by many coaches an average defender. But for anyone that's seen him, that heard how average he is as a defender, and then actually seeing him play, it's like, what the hell are you guys talking about? He's not average, he's digging everything. So I don't know about him, and not sure about Ed Ratledge either. And I like Marty Lorenz for Ratledge. I mean, since both of them can split block, both of them can play defense. I would like Miles Evans for Ratledge, but Evans and Kolinsky are playing really good volleyball right now. All right, enough of that. True or false? We will see Ricardo again in the AVP. I think that's true. I think we'll probably see him in both Gold Series. I think we'll see him in the Gold Series in Manhattan Beach, and I think we'll see him in the Gold Series in Chicago. At a minimum, I think he's going to be at those 2. That's all I got. That's it for true and false, folks. Alright, that's all I have for today. This episode turned out to be a big star-studded episode. I want to thank Todd Rogers for giving me the time, the interview. Of course, Matt Olson, everybody's favorite coach and player. Congratulations to Taylor Crabb and Jay Gibb, for winning the AVP, especially Taylor Crabb, who desperately wanted to just get over that hump and get on with life. Big shout out to Jeff Alzina, who in his busy schedule will probably stopped training and then called in and then probably back at training. So I want to thank him for being on the show, and that's all I got for today. Okay, for all of you at home or watching off your phone, I'm Jason DeVilliers. So long.